checking to see if this worked. Checking to see if this worked. I mean, I think I can see it up and about. So, hopefully someone can confirm one way or the other. So I've done part 1 of this level 2. And welcome back, by the way, if you're here. And there was apparently a problem with people connecting. So I don't know what that's about, but it recorded just fine. Okay, I just got confirmation that it's working, so we are going to continue this show. But you know what? Doing it in bite-sized pieces, I'm kind of okay with that. So, we're back, baby. 2 shows in one night. Yeah, so, Pex. I actually, when I saw the call coming through, I was like, I think that's Pex. And because no one was in the chat, I was like, I think there's a problem with the stream. But I just kept going. And I'm kind of glad that I did, because we actually got a good, nice, short video that people can watch, and I approached it like a tutorial. But when you called, it was not your name that is showing up on the caller ID. Put it that way. It's not even your real life name. So it's like, I think that's Pex, but I can't be sure. And I bet if I answer it, it's just someone trying to sell me bloody a warranty for my car. So I'm going to ignore it. All good. All good. We're back. We're streaming. It's part 2. It's Wednesday night. I'm drawing the Keystone Reforged, something I drew 30 years ago, and I am dragging this sucker into the 21st century, kicking and squealing, and as I do it, I'm making some little adjustments. Just little adjustments, little doodly little things, just like, come on, Wickle fella, just like, let's make you better than you were. So that's what I'm up to. And what I did in part 1, you can go see that if you didn't catch it already, is I've got my cliff edges done, and I've got my tower positions in place. And if I turn off the ink, in fact, if I turn off the towers, you can see the new towers and then new positions. They perfectly line up with the ground area. Much better than, I mean, look at this bad boy. Look at this. Much better than I did it in the past. Basically eyeballing it. Look at the difference. Look, I mean, honestly, what is this anyway? I mean, I know it's ink on paper, but what is that? It's like I spilt coffee beans on it or something. Anyway, what I am doing now is I'm just cleaning up these towers. And I will recommence that. No, it's not you that had the error, because Green Luntum also popped in to sort of say, is there a problem? So I think genuinely there was a problem. If you want to maybe post in Discord for me and say that it appears to have fixed itself. That was weird though, because normally I could tell if the stream doesn't start, but to have it error out on Connect, that's just plain weird. Alright, so I am going to continue noodling. I'm going to noodle these. I am not going to completely delete these. I had the word before. These things, these fortifications, these leading holes things. Anyway, I'm not going to delete them. I'm just going to change the shape on them for the second layer. By the way, this is going to be a kick-ass map. This is going to be a seriously kick-ass map that is only going to get better with every single layer we draw. Why? Because we are going to be able to have the second layer literally sitting above the first layer, and we are going to be able to take our hand-drawn first layer, give it a little bit of blur, take it out of focus, make it look distant, down towards the ground. Imagine how cool that's going to look. This layer, fully coloured, sitting right on top of the layer below. And you can see all of the little walkways and the roads and the buildings. Then we come up with the third layer and we do our bridges and everything. We make the second layer all blurred and out of focused. It's going to be gorgeous. Hey, Brian! Buttress! Thank you, buttress. That's the word I was looking for. I got it in part 1, but apparently between part 1 and part 2, brain fart. Brian, how are you, sir? Yeah. Should have completely drawn these in a different way, but it is what it is, what it is. I'm going to leave those big buttresses in place, just in case I want to do something with them. We can make changes if we want to later on. I think my objective for this half of the show is to get our bridges marked on this. I think that's what I want to do. Now, the thing about these bridges, if I give you a sneak peek here... Oops, go back here. Is they kind of look like donkey shite. There's a certain amount of massive implausibility to them. And so we're going to take a deep dive look at that. I mean, let me give you a case in point. This is a sneak peek. Look at this bridge here. And how it's actually not using any of the supporting towers. What up with that? This is actually an interesting Alyssa critiques Alyssa. Because I can start to see these big flaws. It's like that major bridge should be leaning on this bad boy, right? So I think we're gonna heavily redraw some stuff. Like this here, I am less bothered with. Because we could span out between these bridges. But I think this bridge should almost be supported in between these two towers here, you know? There's some little things about those old bridges that just are not doing it for me. But I think we can keep the spirit of it as we redraw them. Brian, sorry that you're at work, my friend. So actually, Brian, so next week you start your night shift. Does that mean that we don't get to see you anymore on the show? Or are you going to pop in occasionally before your shift starts? How does that work? You know, I'm actually tempted to do shorter streams. I'm tempted to actually do, you know, half-hour streams, but do like 2 or 3 of them in one night or something. I don't know. Make it more bite-size. But maybe that just defeats the purpose. I don't like what I just did on that one. I think I was a little over-aggressive. Alright, so we got that done. Done. Yeah, let's spot a clean up here. Yeah, okay, so I kind of like the idea of mini buttresses. Like using the fantasy walkways as part of the support. I know it wouldn't work like that in real life. I know that. But I kind of like the idea. But I don't want to do massive buttresses. I think the massive ones should be reserved for the ground. And I'm not going to redraw in these buttresses just yet. We're going to do that as we get close to those areas. So something like that for the towers. And I'm going to... I think we can leave the old ink work in place. I'm just going to hit save. And we're going to start thinking about our bridges a little bit more logically than I did in the past. Let's do this. And let's call it bridges draft as well. Okay. Let me turn off the ink here for a moment. The whole thing about this is the layers go up and up and up. But the bridges aren't the same shape, each layer. Now, it's not that there's less of them, but I kind of do thin them out a little bit as we get to the top. So, for example, if we home in on this section here, as I go up, you'll actually see that not only do my bridges change, I've actually got little sort of air islands right here, but then here, the towers are completely devoid. They just go up, there's nothing connecting them. I kind of like the idea of that, you know? Perhaps with a level of irony, this level has the greatest plausibility to me for actually using the towers as support. That bugs me a little bit though. See, with that, I should have a tower underneath that. You know what I mean? Like going down, but I can't now. I don't think. Ah, yeah, it's here. Yeah, I don't wanna get into redrawing that. Alright, but I think what we'll do is I'm gonna do a similar concept using the towers that we actually have. So let's turn off that layer. And let's get some bridges in here. So I do want to keep the spirit of this. Let's draft this by doing something like, you know, if I did, this is not going to be where the bridge is at, but if I did this, then we could get the bridge spans in a draft format quite easily. But what I want to actually do is I want to make sure that we're using our towers, you know what I mean? So I think we're going to reposition these like I almost feel let's just try this. Let's try this. I think I'll draw each bridge individually so we can kind of noodle their position. Come on, what the hell? You know what I should actually do? I'm gonna do this in a slightly different color. I'm gonna have these suckers like in red or something. Yeah, let's do red. Just so we can see what our draft idea is. Yeah, because Yeah, something like that. I don't know how I feel about a walkway making that sort of gap there. But it is... No, that's an aqueduct. I called it an aqueduct. Interesting. But I think it's more plausible in kind of connecting it that way. Or is it? And do I use some of the bridges and spans above, you know, with big, huge sort of suspension style, holding the bridge up? But maybe I just don't fret it too much. Because this type of thing here, we could do this. Yeah, maybe something like that. Okay, so this will be another one. So we're going to have this massive bridge coming out. I think the massive bridge should be connected to the massive towers. That's kind of how I feel about this. You know, like this type of thing. Let's get the color overlay on that one too. And that could be interesting because of this temple area right here. I do want to make sure I'm not inadvertently, though, creating something boring. But at the same time, I want to make sure that it does have a degree of plausibility to it. Just a smidge, you know, just a smidge. Yeah, so what if... Yeah, okay, so if I merge them, and then let's transform them. What if... they go something like this. Let's get the color overlay on that too. Oops. Okay. Because that could give us an opportunity to kind of have this be almost all solid, you know? That could be fun. And we could do... kind of circular around that. And maybe these actually could do more of a this type of thing. I'm kind of, well, actually maybe we don't do that. Maybe we do this, because I kind of like the idea of the full right there. We could always link these towers as well, I think. Now, it's going to mean that there isn't this dragon's claw coming up. I think that's okay. We could have an overhang come out, you know? A man-made overhang. And then likewise here, maybe we do, you know, something like this. Could be interesting, and I don't mind having a short bridge between these two. I don't want to put too much sort of load bear on that point there, though, because I think that's where it's gonna start getting weird. Hello, Mr. Ford. How are you, sir? Glad you were able to connect. We are, Mr. Ford. If I'm going to hide my layer 2, I'm going to hide my trace layer, the old maps. Layer 1. The new layer above layer 1. That's what I'm drawing right now. And what I've done is I've just drawn the cliff edges. I've got my towers moved up. And I'm now deciding where I want to put the bridges. And I came to the conclusion that the version of me from many years ago kind of cocked up a little bit on this phase, because I feel like I added some shapes that just I'm not comfortable with, you know what I mean? I'm just not comfortable. What if I actually had some bridges above and below others, even though they're on the same level? Like, yeah, this is level 2 of the city, but it doesn't stop me having a bridge above or below this major bridge right here, right? And casting it in shadow and stuff. That could be fun. Yeah, then we'll just do kind of a walkway thing going around the outside edge of that. Some spans of stairwells coming down. That could actually look pretty freaking neat. That would look pretty boss, because we could even do that then, you know, here. Cast a shadow onto the road below. Have some steps sweeping up onto it. That could be nice. Alright, so definitely we're gonna... You know, actually, just let me hold that thought. Let's turn off layer 2. Let's still have the trace here. I don't think I copied these building shapes like at all, if I remember rightly. Because... No. I took the spirit that there was a temple down here. And I drew a temple down there, and in this instance it was a similar shape. So I kept the key points of interest, like we've got this square here. And so I kept the square. But I think I kept the spirit of the roads, but redrew pretty much everything. So if we're going to do that... Then I could do the same here. Like, I'll make sure we've got a temple here. I'll make sure we've got a nice temple here. The Square of Ares. Maybe at the end of this big, huge ramp. But otherwise, look at this. The Pyramid Walk. There's not a freaking pyramid anywhere along there. And I don't think there is on level 3 either. Nope. I was a weird person. But yeah, we'll keep the main features, the main shapes, but we can just go nuts. So that means I can absolutely change my road shapes, because it's the first connecting arches from here to here. Not a bad name. This here, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, we can, but I think we're gonna have the roads lean on the towers. That's why the towers are there. There are supports. We're gonna use that, which means we can do anything we want. Alright, including, let's just do something like this. What I'm doing here is I'm just kind of marking off. You see this? Oh, you know, no, I'm going to do this. All right, let me finish that thought. So this is me just marking off the edge of a draft road or draft bridge, ensuring that it's at least like using the towers as support. So something like this. Yeah, something like that. Let's tidy up these a bit. But then, that means that I actually have 2 bridges that are cutting into the rock here. And I think that's okay. We could take... I think we could just take this rock. And we're going to redraw it. Because we can. And we'll have the bridge coming right at the edge, right there. And maybe we'll even have kind of like some little sort of fortification on that corner, looking down. And likewise here, we'll trim this back. We're going to make that cave a little bit larger than the original. Just a little bit. Just more like this. But then, I really do like the idea of, you know, just some overhang fortress, maybe here. Type of deal. You know, maybe it even just sweeps out like this and joins the bridge. And remember, we're going to have all of this sitting right on top of level 1. So anything we draw and color, we'll see level 1 underneath. And I think that's just going to look beautiful. So having these little towers and balconies and projections, maybe we'll even draw some like leering massive statues coming out of the cliff face. So as you're coming down the road here, you know, you can see these massive, beautiful statues in the cliff. That would be kind of cool. Yes, Rodney, done. That's what we're gonna do. Pyramid Walk, they sell pyramid statuettes as souvenirs of what could have been in a completely different city in the world. I think to pay homage to this name here, I'm gonna have to actually draw a pyramid somewhere inside this city, near that road. Okay, so something like this, and we can definitely then do this. By the way, Rodney, did you get in on the Bones Kickstarter? Are you like me and you're just waiting for your massive box to arrive? Okay, because if we do something like that, we could do something like this. And then a little bit of this. I'm tempted to make some of these roads thinner, but as a basis, as a draft, this is doing it better for me than the previous design did. And because I had that idea of having elevated bridges, I'm going to even do this. And that's going to cast a shadow on the massive bridge beneath. Definitely more of this type of thing. And that means I could probably get away with something like this. How long ago was the Kensai Kickstarter? Occasionally I go through all of my Kickstarters to see if they've arrived or not. I don't think I have too many, but I definitely have a few that are behind, you know, and I typically just give them the time that they need to get the job done. Do I make this solid? I don't want to make it solid. I'm not going to make it solid. But I think this could look interesting. What about... Actually, what if we did something like that? Alright, so that... What am I actually doing here? What are any of us doing here? So I think what I'm trying to sort of get at is, do I want to create? Well, no, that's a bridge. So it would be a cutaway type of deal. So those are the bits that would drop down to the ground below. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe could be interesting. If I turn off that for a moment, what are we looking at? I like the idea of the two spans over the big spans. I'm going to keep that. Let's not overdo it though. Let's certainly have them, but let's make this one span. And of course we're going to clean all of this up. That means that this is part of the same span. kind of want to get one more bridge coming out here. So this is going to do something like this. That's going to connect. Something like, well, that's a right cat's ass. We could probably be a little bit more precise than that. Don't have to be quite so freaking heavy-handed, Faden. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Peck says, watching a lot of complaints on the Call of Cthulhu Kickstarter in regards to the HPLSHS, the HP Lovecraft Society, in regards to the extra shipping costs. Oh, fuck them. What are they expecting? Well, hold on. For starters, you're going to have to pay more to get the bloody thing anyway. I mean, the HP Lovecraft Society is just making this available in the same way that they did for masks. You think they're going to ship that to me for free because I happen to back a Kickstarter by a completely different company? Fuck human beings. Fuck those entitled pricks. Honestly, you want to bap them with a newspaper? I want to bap them with something else. I want to bap them with a Morningstar flail. It's like, you entitled fucking prick. That chaps my ass. They're two totally separate companies. They should be rejoicing that Chaosium are allowing the HP Lovecraft Society to do such a quality thing. Because that's not guaranteed. Look, I saw that and I had giddy reactions in my pants. I was like, this is brilliant. I want more things out of the HP Lovecraft Society. They're going to charge me, but they have been given permission by Chaosium. I'm a happy camper. Of course I'm going to pay for the damn thing, and I'm going to pay the associated ship. What? They want it as a Kickstarter add-on and combined shipping. Hi, Noble Dwarf. Good to see you, my friend. Pex, that is some entitled level bullshit right there. That really, really, really is. Plus, it's honestly, it's totally glossing over. Then, okay, so if you do a Kickstarter and you add an extra but different physical reward like t-shirts or something, suddenly becomes a real pain in the ass, because now you've got to get this t-shirt, you've got to get the logistics of the t-shirt at the correct size for the backer, and somehow get that t-shirt back to you and then off to the backer without incurring too much extras in shipping, right? And that's just using the simplest example of a t-shirt. But here we're going to have a boxed set of Call of Cthulhu props from a completely different company on a different delivery time frame. And somehow people want to combine that in with Chaosium's Kickstarter on its own time frame in a different part of the country, and have Chaosium coordinate the fact that I ordered it, get it from these guys for me. Fuck off. People would be lucky if Chaosium said, as a backer, you're going to get a discount, and we figured out a coupon system or something. You'd be lucky if people do that. Honestly, people could go fuck themselves. Titled assholes. Look, the Noble Dwarf came in just at the rant time. That grinds my gears. These same arseholes will be bitter if their shit arrived late because Chaosium had to wait on the H.P. Lovecraft Society. These guys would be bitter if it cost them more because now they've got to get the H.P. Lovecraft Society stuff over to Chaosium and now ship that extra box to them. How I have not gone postal with a Morningstar flail at this point beats me. Beats me. Because human beings like that, goddamn, would deserve it. Yeah, Noble, I can only imagine how Brexit is fucked with you. Well, it's fucked with all companies like you, right? But you run a Kickstarter, you're doing whatever, you got all your shipping, and now you've got to deal with that whole Brexit thing. I feel like I should be investing in a small seaworthy vessel and ferrying goods back and forth between countries right about now. Oops, we don't want that. We want this. What is my layer below looking like? I kind of want to get... You see this here? I kind of want to get another tier kind of in this area-ish. In fact, let me just make a note of that area. Yeah. Okay, so some kind of hilltop fortification is going to kind of come into the cliff a little bit. You know, we'll figure out the shape on it. Maybe it comes out a little bit like this. That'll look good with the layer below being exposed. And you know, maybe we actually carve out the cliff in like a big huge tower type thing. But it wouldn't have the tower here. That would be stupid. So, something like this. Thanks. They call that smuggling, but I'm down. But you know... Yes, okay, they call that smuggling, yes. But shipping to Ireland... You're probably still going to hit some kind of border control though, aren't you? Like getting into England and Europe. Well, this is specifically an England thing, I'm sure. There's got to be a way of doing it though. But there was, people would be jumping all over that. It's almost like you should just ship the stuff to Ireland and say if you want it, get it from there. Because frankly, that's close enough. or if you knew someone in Ireland that could at least ship stuff from Ireland. Yeah, and you know, I know he watches the show, but you know, we've got someone that I owe a book to from my Elizabeth, and granted, I need to ship this book to him, Dungeonton. Looking at you, my friend, if you're watching the show, and I haven't shipped it yet. But I haven't shipped it because, well, he's got all of these stipulations, right? I mean, for starters, it's going to cost me over $100 to ship this book to him, so I am very much in the hole on this thing. But then he's like, don't forget, you've got to mark it like this way for importing, so I don't get charged taxes. I'm like, I feel like there's this, he's put me under this emotional pressure for him not to get charged import taxes at his end that I have no control over. And I don't think he's realised that. I'm actually scared of shipping this book to him in case he gets charged, because he's going to blame me. So I'm going to spend over $100 to ship a book and then have him complain because his country charged in import taxes. And I don't know what to do with that, other than be a little bit scared of shipping the book, and thus far I haven't shipped the book. And like, I'm dreading actually shipping the book. I can't even imagine what it'd be like on a business level, but you know, where you're shipping so much extra stuff. That would just be all kinds of nuts. Well, Noble, you've got it on a much bigger level than me. But so I suppose what I should be saying is, Noble, I empathise with you. You know, I empathise with you. I'm gonna put another tower type thing up the top here. Yeah, I think that would look good. You're doing this shipping on a much bigger level than me. I've got one book. So the other Alyssa stuff that I shipped, painted miniature to Scotland, cost me $100 to ship. It cost more than the miniature itself by far. I don't paint that good that it's worth $100. So, and I don't think people realise that. I don't think people realise that you're spending a hell of a lot of cash to get it to them, only for their country to decide if you're going to get charged taxes on it or not. No one wants you to get charged import taxes. I actually sent a birthday present to my dad, and it got import taxes, and it was clearly marked import a birthday present, and he got whapped on that. And I've done that twice now, and 2 different countries have done it to him. So it's like, I don't want the pressure of you telling me that when I ship something to you, that I have to help you avoid the import taxes. I'm going to do what I can. I'll mark it as a gift, a birthday gift, whatever. But everything that happens after it leaves my hand, it's out of my hands, man. It's down to your country now. Don't be putting me under that type of pressure. Come on. That hurts. One day I definitely will be. I'm going to ship it. I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to mark it as a gift, etc. Because it is a gift. But let me tell you a story. I shipped an army, a Napoleonic army, to get painted to England before they did the Brexit thing. And the guy was charged import duties, even though he painted them and shipped them right back to me. He still got charged import duties. Like, what are you meant to do with that? It's not, he didn't buy the thing. He's not keeping the thing. He's shipping it straight back to source. And there's no mechanism for England to even give a shit about that. I'll tell you now, at least with England, import duties is a way, it's a form of earning currency for them. It's income for them. Doesn't matter what you write on the freaking box, and that's it's one of the things I hate the most. I feel like, well, you see, you can't even really do it this way, can you? You can't even sort of have a boat out in international waters and then have people come to your boat or anything. Because that's still freaking smuggling. It's like I'm trying to work my way around the inevitable fact that no matter how you could get something into the country without guaranteed taxes, it's smuggling. You literally have just defined smuggling. I do know, though, that there are companies, right, that will handle the freight and everything, and even the shipping at the UK side of things, or the European side of things. So, and they do it for, like, big bulk stuff, a lot of companies, and so I think that helps get costs down, but what the hell do I know? I've been out of that game a long time. Right, Pegs, exactly. I mean, we did something similar to that, something that Jack and I were shipping many moons ago, and we had no, I might be smoking the ganja, but I thought we actually had a location that did some shipping for us. We just had to get a whole bunch of stuff to them. But I might be imagining a conversation I had that we never actually followed through with. But yeah, that type of thing. This, by the way, because this is the second part of my stream, this might be a good point for me to end this particular chapter. I won't be streaming tomorrow, but I am going to do another how-to guide. Watch out for them coming out on my channel here shortly. Should have one coming out in about a week. Something like this. Yeah, I think something like this. I think this is what we're rolling with. And what does the layer below look like? Yeah, something like that. I think will work. So that's my draft. That's my draft city shape. I think on the next time that we revisit this, probably next Monday or Tuesday, thereabouts, we're gonna start drawing in our draft roads and getting some building action going on. Drawing these bridges on a more permanent basis for sure. I think we'll actually just start drawing some buildings. That's what we're gonna do. It is, by the way, my Patreon hangout. I think this Friday, if I'm right. So Friday, 5 Pacific time, 7 Central time. Why I'm doing Central time, I don't know. But it's a hangout. So if you're part of my Patreon, you will get a Zoom link sent to you. We're just going to be hanging out. We're going to be painting. We're going to be drawing. We're going to be doing whatever. I'm painting. We'll have a few others in there painting with us. Sometimes Anna Maya drops in as well, and she's working on her maps. and we just talk geeky, nerdy shit. So, if you're part of my Patreon crew, love you, thank you so much. Come join me. If you hung out with me tonight, thank you very much. Absolutely love you for doing so. And if you didn't, well, screw you. You missed out. With that said, I love you all. Thank you so much. I'm having fun with this one. I have a lot of fun hanging out with you. Work on those smuggling ideas. We're gonna make it happen for Noble Dwarf. He's our test guinea pig. Till then, everyone, much love.